Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back after, well, I said we're back. We've had a bit of a week break, and not only just me, but the game as well, because we had some technical difficulties with the game. I know EA, being EA, decided to try and break the game. However, they've patched it. The cars are back to normal. Everything is good to go, and I can't wait to bring you Silverstone, the track that I was looking forward to racing this week. However, due to the gods of EA, my controller didn't want to work, but I've got a new controller now, which means I can now do comms, I can do everything, which means we are good to go. We are back racing. We are back with Silverstone. Now, my co-host, Mr. AFL, will be here momentarily. He is just parking up his car. He's getting ready, but he's had a bit of a long day at the office. Now, I do apologise if you can hear my son in the background. He is getting ready for bedtime, but I will try my absolute hardest to keep you guys focused on the racing where I can. Now, we're going to jump on board with Cold Paradox, who will be our first car out of the paddock. It is so good to see the actual official cars back on the track. And speaking of co-hosts, I told you he wouldn't be very long. Mr. AFL, here he is. Mr. AFL, good evening.
Good evening, Rob. Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good Thursday.
Well, Thursdays are Thursdays with both of us, but little birdie told me that you stepped into my position last week. You became lead comms.
Yeah, big shoes for me to fill.
I wouldn't say big shoes. How did you enjoy it? How did you like the lead comms role? How did it feel?
I think it's tough when you're on your own and you haven't got anybody to fall back on. It was fun. It was a good experience, and I did enjoy it. I hope I did. Okay.
Well, I watched back your comms from last week, mate, when I was in Greece, and I tell you what, mate, it was good to watch. I enjoyed it. So, definitely. And Hargreaves is even saying in the comments, mate, that you did good. So, big well done.
Cheers, man. Thank you. Thank you, Hargreaves.
But you're back in the familiar position now. You're back as my co-host. Well, yeah. We're each other's co-host, let's face it. We've got that click, and that's what the main thing is when it comes to comms. We are on board with Cold Paradox at the moment, who is about to start the first hot lap of the evening. Now, we have got a little bit of intel coming from Paddock Row. Dry qualifying, however, the race is a wet one. Dig out your galoshes.
Interesting for me because I can't hear anything. I have no sound coming out of my game.
I can just hear it.
I can't hear anything. Oh, here we go. I got sound now. I had to pause it. I've got sound.
There we go.
This
you got
game
sound.
Sometimes, yeah.
It's EA made, mate. What do you expect?
Yeah.
With EA, remember, it's you pay for the game, and then everything else is a DLC. Anyway, so we have got, it's 26 laps if I remember correctly, and 18 corners on what is the majority of CRL's home Grand Prix. Now, you raced here on Monday night, my friend. How did it go for you?
Terribly. I think that's just going to be the trend of every time you ask me about how my race is. It's terrible. This was genuinely my worst race, and I didn't even crash out. I just retired because it was horrible. I was spinning. I racked up loads of penalties. It was just an awful race for me.
Yeah, I know, because I was obviously in your engineering box. It wasn't the best of races. But you're in the comms booth now, where Cold Paradox is set at a 126.3.
It's a great lap to start off with. Just on board with... Oh, I see Palmer is racing. I take it he's reserving tonight then.
There's a couple of reserves from other tiers to try and fill the gap. We've got 19 drivers, one of which TGP Palmer is back racing.
That's good. That's a great lap there from Strauss as well. Both Strauss and Palm are both in the low 29s, or the high 29s, sorry.
I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with Palmer this season. Obviously, he's a Tier 4 driver, and the races that he has put in here at Tier 3, he will probably be going up next season. Let's face it, his seed crosses the line and goes next fastest with 1 minute 25.6. McConey went a P3, now P4. Let's try and find who's going to be crossing the line next. I believe it's going to be an AlphaTauri. Who's going to be? It's going to be, that's Ennis. What can Ennis bring to the table? Ennis is going to go second fastest with 125.8. That's a belter of a lap. Up next is going to be one of your teammates, mate. It's not going to be Indian Jesus. It's going to be DeWill in the Aston Martin as he's coming around Stowe. No, sorry, Vale, not Stowe. Stowe's gone corner before. As he goes sixth fastest, 1 minute 26.2. Now, Mercedes just crossed the line with knocked out, which I believe was a 1 minute 26.11, followed by a Williams or an Alpine. That was an Alpine of Leon with 126.9. So a couple of drivers taking it easy to begin with. Who have we got coming around now? We're going to jump on board. Tell you what, let's give some love to CRL III as he goes on a outlap at the moment. Now, as I was saying, Silverstone is a home track for the majority of these races, myself and yourself included, AFL, but it's a good track. Obviously, an iconic track as well.
Yeah, it's got a bit of everything, Silverstone.
Including them dreaded S's.
Maggots and Beckett's probably maybe one of the best sections in motor racing.
Oh, 100%.
It's an iconic corner. I think if you ask anybody about Silverstone, they'll talk to you about Maggots and Beckett's.
Well, over recent times, there's only 2 moments that really stand out. The 3 moments that really stand out for Silverstone. Let's roll the clocks back to 2021, where Max Verstappen famously ploughed himself into a wall by trying to overtake Lewis. And Lewis got penalised for it, but we won't go there.
Do you really have to bring up 2021 every week?
I do have to bring up 2021 every week. It's a recurring theme now. I've got a feeling that the crowd at home would be disappointed if I didn't mention it at least every week.
I'd rather forget about 2021.
Well, put it this way, mate. I wasn't there for comms for Abu Dhabi, for last race, so you got away with me going on a 2021 frenzy.
No, good.
I would have been pointing out everything about 2021.
No, that would have definitely given me PTSD.
Then let's roll the clocks back to 2022, where 2 incidences, of course, happened. The first of which, Guohan Yu, his crash, which was a very dangerous crash, and those that doubt the halo, yeah, if that halo hadn't been there, there's a good chance that Guohan Yu may not have been here with us. And then, of course, where Scotty Freefall is pretty much coming up to now, the now iconic through goes Hamilton moment, as Scott abandons his lap. Let's go find somebody else to jump on board with then. Jump on board with the Ferrari of Brabbit, who's yet to set a lap as well. No, Scouser's on a hot lap, so we'll stick on board with Scouser for now. Of course, obviously the last time before this round AFL was the last time that we went round here. We were teammates for the first time.
Yeah.
And if memory serves me correct, you went on for a win.
Yeah, I won many moons ago. I think it was, I think that was our debut race for Ferrari together that we won.
It was.
I won. I think didn't you get pole?
I got pole. I got a last second pole, and then I had a penalty towards the back end of the race that put me off because we was on for a 1-2.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, if memory serves me correct, I finished P5 that race.
Yeah, it could have been a double podium at least.
Could have been. But coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's not much we can do about it now, let's face it. But you got the win, which was the main thing. So you are a previous CRL race winner here at Silverstone.
Yeah. Back when I was competent.
Well, you've had a big change, haven't you, for this season though? You've gone to wheel, which is one of the reasons why it's a learning curve, like, especially if you're new to wheel. Speaking of new to wheel, fake Scouser goes 1 minute 28.3. So And someone else just jumped up somewhere because I believe it was a half. So I don't know what. I think that was 4 star, 126.0. Alright. Alright. Rabbit's probably on an in lap. The band's coming in. Scott's now on an out lap, so we'll jump on board with him to show him some more love again. Now, speaking of which, let's go and take a look at the table. Now, not much really seems to have changed position-wise at the top three. It's still Brabbit at the very top with 154 points, 4-star with 138, and McConey with 126. That's our top three. Obviously, then got the likes of Strauss, Indian Jesus, War Daddy, Cold Paradox, or trying to hunt down. But there's not many races left to go now, is there, AFL?
Nope. Can't lie. From my side of it, I can't wait for this season to be over.
Is that just so we can crown our winners, or just so you can rethink strategy and go again?
Yeah, so I can just start again, to be honest.
Go again. Well, we don't know how long the next season's going to be, but hopefully it might be a little bit longer, or it could be another round of 12. So I've been a fan. I don't mind the 12 races, but it does feel like this season's gone blink and you missed it type moment.
Yeah, it has.
Right, I'll tell you what, let's take a look at the World Constructors Championship as well. Now, there has been a change, obviously, from the last time I saw it. My team, AlphaTauri, now sit bottom of the table, bringing home that wooden spoon, people, with 388 points. In ninth is currently Alpine with 430, followed by Red Bull, good to see on that low, with 560, Williams 564, Mercedes with 577, Aston Martin, your teammate, sits mid-table with 586, McLaren 587, a point separating them and Aston Martin, so a good championship battle for the constructors and where you're going to finish grid-wise. Then our top three teams, Haas has 722, Ferrari has 737, but currently leading the constructors by 38 points is Alfa Romeo with 775. So Toads and McConey, once again, the Alfa Romeo boys, four CRL Tier 3, they are sticking together like chalk and cheese.
While you were running down the constructors, I was just on board with Sieb in the Mercedes with I think he's put a 25.4 in, which was a very, very good lap. I was on board for the whole of that, so yeah. Lovely
good
lap
stuff
you put together there.
Well, I'm just going over the line now with Scott, who goes provisional P4 with a 125.9. It's just the band now that has got to set a lap. Now, all the drivers have set one. Who's coming around the line now? It's not the Will, it's going to be Indian Jesus. He, by the looks of it, is going to be setting a hot lap now. So we'll stick on board with him to see if he can improve. I'm looking forward to the race. A wet Silverstone can be quite interesting as well.
Yeah. I wonder, is it going to be fully wet? Is it going to be into?
Well,
what's it?
According to Intel down from Paddock Row, at the very start of the race, 91% chance of rain. It just doesn't say how heavy. So I'm going to say that it's going to be inters because it's sunny and cloudy on the icon. So I'm going to say inters, but I wouldn't rule out a full wet race, not with the percentage being that high. So I reckon it could be a wet to inters, or it could just be full inters. But obviously, safety cars as well will shake all that up as well, as drivers are going to be looking to try and get that last few hot laps in as we approach 4 minutes left in the session before we get underway. So just while we wait for Indian Jesus to finish this hot lap, let's take a look to see where we'll be heading to next week on the F1 calendar for Season 9. We head to one of my favourite tracks, and that is Miami. Oh, as we see, right at the I jumped on board at the right time there at KXI. He bounced off a wall.
As you do.
I don't know what he was doing. All I know is that we could possibly maybe put a new pit lane there because of how he decided to hit the wall. Okay, so that was caught on camera. Lovely stuff. So we're going to jump on board with Staban, who is on an outlap and will be the last person to set a time for the grid. Yeah, just 3 races now which separate, and it's 3 tracks that I've had podiums at. Miami, my first P2, Imola, my first P3, and Brazil, my infamous P3, where I went from a lap down to P3.
Yeah, I remember that race.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you remember that race, mate.
Yeah, I remember it for the wrong reasons from my side.
Well, you also jumped on and became my race engineer for that race as well after you retired. You stayed on with me for the remainder of that race, and possibly I couldn't have got that podium without your race engineer tactics.
Yeah, that race was quite annoying for me. I was in a good position
in
the midst of a title fight, and I got taken out. No fault of my own or the driver, it was just a genuine accident. It was the conditions as well weren't great.
It was a harsh race that day. It was tough for everyone. Like I said, I went a lap down, and the only reason I got unlapped myself was because obviously we had a late game safety car, didn't we? So it brought me back into it. So the Red Bull getting a bit of a tow from his teammate there. Can Esteban get himself on a good start on the grid? That is the question. It's a good time so far as we come into the final couple of corners. Onto the last corner, into club, and who's it going to be? It goes P13, 126.4 flat. Clark, the other Red Bull, now starting his potential last hot lap of the session. Interestingly, Brabbit, our championship leader, currently only sitting P10. Obviously, points awarded all the way down to P12 in CRL. So, plenty of opportunity for points, but it does mean if Brabbit was to finish in P10 now, it does mean that there is potential for the gap to be closed as we head into the final 3 races of the season. I've lost the tables. Oh, your standings. There we go. There we go. Not back up now. It's been a lovely lap here from Clark. Now, is he going to improve? That is the question. Now, 3-4 has said that is all I can do, and he's retired in P4. Now, the question is, all the other drivers are now on hot laps, so it is going to be a mad dash to the finish. Clark doesn't improve. He stays P15. Right, next up to cross the line is going to be one of the Alfa Romeo boys, who's gone for a spit. Well, that one's not anywhere near it. McConey does improve. He goes P4 as Tobes has spun it, and now the checker flag is being waved. Homer P3. Everyone's going to cross the line now. We've got a Mercedes crossing the line. Don't know which one that is. That's not Jack. He's gone P12. He doesn't improve. As we've got the other McLaren of Fake Scouser. He goes P13, and that'll be the end for him. Up next, I believe, is one of the Alphas, or no, it's a Williams. It's going to be called Paradox, which is going to cross the line next. Is he going to improve? He's on for a good lap at the minute as he's coming round into club. What's he going to do? He does improve. He goes P11, so that'll be a good result for him, as we've now got one of the Ferraris coming across that. That's our championship leader, Brabbit. He goes P6. Might not be too happy with that, as we've got an Aston Martin. De Will's currently out of the way of everybody in the best possible way possible, as Indian Jesus comes around into club. He improves and goes P8. Now we've got a Haas also crossing the line, a 4-star. He goes P8, knocking Indian Jesus down to P9. Mercedes next of Steve. Steve improves and stays on the provisional pole, as we've got now the Alpha Tauri, not of real DC. That's going to be Ennis. He goes P2, only 300 seconds off of Steve. The Red Bull, I believe that was Clark. He's improved and goes P9. As we've got, who's it next? Not the Williams, it's the Alpine, I believe. Just got to find out which one it is. Leon. Can Leon improve? No, he goes P14, and I believe it's just McConey now which is left to cross the line, but he's going to come into the pits, and that will be our Silverstone grid. interesting lineup there using the top spots. AFL, your thoughts as we head into the main race?
It's going to be interesting to see what sort of setup everybody's gone with. They've gone with a sort of a dry setup or a intermediate/wet setup. That could be the case on why some guys haven't qualified as high up, maybe going for a race setup instead. But we'll see anyway. Obviously it's a long race and anything can happen.
Still a while to go. Yeah, we've still got 26 laps ahead of us, but while we wait for the 26 laps, we've got Sieb, Ennis and Strauss and Palmer's on the front 2 row. Then it's McConey, Brabbit, Freefall, 4-Star, Clark, Indian Jesus, Tobes, DeWill, Cole Paradox, Leon, Not Jack, Fake Scouser, Rio DC, Staban and KXI. That will be our grid for Silverstone this week. Now, none of the top 3 in the championship are in the top 4. It's McConey that is the highest one out of our top 3 on the grid. So it's going to be interesting to see what our boys can do this evening. And as I said, mate, dig out your wellies. It's chucking it down. Well, let's face it. This is normally on a bank holiday weekend in July, and let's face it, normally on this bank holiday weekend, it likes to chuck it down. It's authentic. Although, to be fair, the last few British Grand Prix we've had, they've actually been dry, haven't they?
They have, indeed.
So we are due a wet one, which I believe, mate, you are off to next year.
Yes, I am, yeah.
Lucky boy. I made the judgment call of going to Greece again next year or Silverstone. I think a family holiday to Greece next year will be the winner. But I will be at Silverstone, hopefully 2025. If not, 2026 for definite, because I want to see Audi on the grid. So that's the plan for me. Go to Silverstone for when Audi make it there. Because I might be making the jump from Ferrari to Audi as a supporter. Just because it's hard being a Ferrari fan. Any Ferrari fans in the comments and the server will all agree that it's hard to be a Ferrari fan.
I think currently it's probably better to be a Ferrari fan than a Mercedes fan, to be fair.
Oh yeah, after the debacle between George and Lewis last week.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we do get ready for lights out, it is 5 lights out and away we go. And it is a very, very quick lights out, I must add. Everyone's rocking the full wet tyres, mate. As Steve gets off to a good start, we've got a couple of drivers coming off track at the very back. Steve gets a very, very good. Freefall is up to P5. We've had a bit of a drop. McConey seems to have dropped all the way down to P5. What's going on?
Like a McLaren was sideways going through first corner. Look, it may have been Freefall, to be fair. He's having a bit of a ding-dong with Klurp.
No
got somebody
in a wall that looked like an Alfa Romeo in the background there.
They were okay. They were okay. We've had the spinner. It looks like a Mercedes.
It's an Aston Martin, I think.
It's an Aston Martin.
It's Indian Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. Oh, Siebes dropped all the way down to P10.
Oh, what's happened?
It's just everything happening everywhere. DeWill's got a 5-second time.
We have somebody in a wall, Leon in a wall.
He is actually he's in the old pit lane.
Yeah.
How's that not wrecked his car?
He may have front wing damage.
I was going to say, he must have some sort of damage. Yeah, I think he's missing one of the end plates on his car. Wow.
But so far, so good for Ennis. P1.
I'll tell you who it is
his legs a little bit as well.
Brabbit is up to P2, and Palmer keeping him company in P3.
Yep.
Now, if I remember correctly, the last time I did a comms with you, which was Spain, Palmer was pushing and battling Brabbit for P1.
That is correct.
So, is Palmer well and truly trying to make his mark on the higher tier? Because obviously, Palmer is only a tier 4 driver as it stands. A technical tier 3 reserve driver. His main tier is tier 4. But I tell you what, he's actually giving some of the tier 3 boys a run for his money.
Yeah, Palmer's a good driver.
Mm,
He just gets on with it as well.
And we've had the fortune, we've had the pleasure of being his teammate.
We have. But yeah, Ennis stretching his legs a bit more. 1.8 seconds in front of Brabbit as they both gone through Cops now. The famous Cops corner.
Well, DeWill up to P8, Indian Jesus back up to P17. The Aston Martins both getting positions there. Leon's obviously coming for a pit due to his wing damage. Hopefully he's not calling it a day, because it is still a long race. Still plenty of time yet.
Yep, a lot of things can happen. Oh, Strauss got very sideways there, just coming onto the hanger straight there.
Yeah, 4-star saw his opportunity.
He's lost the position.
Well, Strauss is trying to keep up with 4-star. Let's keep on battle with the battle people.
We have a spinner at the back,
it's a Mercedes.
Mercedes,
It's going from bad to worse for the Mercedes. Good evening, Mr. Nathan. Obviously, he's the chief around here. He is the Mr. Top Dog. He's come in to... The boss man he's blessed us with his presence in the comments. Obviously, you got your golden boys back commentating Tier 3 for you, boss. And it's been an eventful first 3 laps. There's been bumps and slides, and one person tried going into the old pit lane. I don't think he meant to do it, but he tried.
An interesting battle coming up, probably between Brabbit and Ennis. Now, Brabbit has really put his foot down now and is within a second of Ennis. So let's see how that unfolds now. Obviously, no DRS as well, so it's just going to be
pure talent.
Pure talent, pure grip as well. Different lines possibly being taken as well in the wet. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, 100%.
It's going to be an interesting battle.
Well, that's the thing with wet races. It does. Some people prefer them, and it is an equalizer, as you just said, because it does literally just null and void, like DRS assistance. We do have 3-4 who's plummeting. He's free falling down to P14. I don't know why, because he's going to become P15 as Tobes gets the overtake on the outside, but Tobes has gone off track to get the position. I don't know if he'll be forced to hand that back, but it looks like he has, and we do got a VSC from somewhere. Leon's been disqualified for going the wrong way. I think that's why the VSC is out. He's got no wing, and he is out of this Grand Prix. Now, where the car is being pulled up to, mate, I don't know if you're on board with Leon. I don't know if you got on with him before.
No,
he's pulled up
I can't.
On the starting straight, mate. Literally the starting straight. So we could potentially see maybe a full set, unless he's despawned. I think he may now have despawned, so it could just be a VSC that we're going to be greeted with here.
Bish bash bosh. I love the voice in face with tears of joy. That whole lap should be illegal for T3 Jesus. Seat too good for Tier 3. Good evening.
I've just got the comments playing catch up on my stream as the yellow flag has now disappeared and we now have a green flag as we get under racing again. Has that helped Ennis out and some? Now a second in front of Brabbit. Brabbit's got to rebuild up that. I say it every week and I'm going to say it again. It's good to see the number 5 on the Ferrari once again. It brings back so many memories, AFL.
It does, and it was good to see Seb at the Japanese Grand Prix this weekend.
Well,
just gone. I don't know if you saw any of that.
I did. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the race because I was still getting over jet lag. But have you seen the news about Vettel? How he said that he's missing racing for F1 and how he's potentially in talks on coming back to the F1.
Yeah, I can see that, to be honest.
I've been saying this for the last year, and anyone who knows me can vouch for me on this. I've been saying when Audi come back into the sport, they're going to want to sign a German driver. Now, there's 2 German drivers currently on the F1 grid that, well, either off or on, which is Schumacher and Vettel. And out of the 2, let's face it, you're going to go for Vettel.
Or they could do a Mercedes, like what Mercedes did in 2010, and go for
German.
2 Germans.
Yeah. Which would then mean Schumacher and Vettel. Which could be a good combo. I'd like to see that, to be fair. Now, we're just on board with Fake Scouts for the minute. We're going to show the other McLaren some love at the moment as Clark makes his way back up to P6 with the overtake on Not Jack. So, we are now 5 laps in. Let's take a look to see who was the biggest winner and the biggest loser from that start. Ennis is up 2 and Brabbitt is up 4. Palmer is up 1 and 4-star is up 4. However, Strauss is down 2 while Clark is up 3. Not Jack is up 8 and Fig Scouser is up 8. McConey's down 4. DeWill is up 2. Staban up 7. Sorry, DeWill is up 2, not down 2. Gold Paradox is up 1. Indian Jesus down 3. 3-4 is 3-4 and 7. Tobes down 4. DC is up 1. Seeb, unfortunately, is the biggest loser at the moment. He is down 16, and KXI is up 1. And Leon has been shown the black flag for going the wrong way.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there, but again, still a lot of the race to go.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Thing is, it doesn't look to be drying up any time soon. We've got a little bit of a battle going on here between Clark and Not Jack. So let's jump on board with the Mercedes. Oh look, it's the battle between a Merc and a Red Bull. Where have we heard this before?
You need to stop manifesting this.
I'm making it happen, mate. It's the more I say it, the more it happens. Oh look, the Merc's even got a Lewis Hamilton helmet on, look. That helmet is definitely based on one of Lewis's. Tell me that the helmet of Not Jack doesn't remind you of a Lewis Hamilton helmet.
It doesn't remind me of a Lewis Hamilton helmet.
You're just saying that to try and get out of this 2021 vibe I've got going on.
Well, 2021 wasn't wet, so...
No. Wasn't it a sprint race in 2021?
Yeah, it was sprint weekend as well.
Well, the battle here is heating up between these two drivers. Let's stick on board and see if that 2021 energy can go into the same corner. The Mercedes gets the overtake on the Red Bull. Not Jack is up to P6. Now, Clark just needs to catch up by the time they get to... It was Cops, wasn't it? Cops Corner where they had the collision.
Cops was where they had the collision, yeah.
Right, well, he's catching up. Here we go. Come on. Say it with me, AFL. 2021 energy. Come on, say it with me. Say it with me.
No.
Nah, it's not going to happen. But it's still lovely battling going on between these two drivers as the battle for P1 is heating up. Rabbit is slowly catching Ennis. And there is now quite a sizable gap between the front two drivers and P3. Now, Brabbitt is going quite nippy down into Stowe. But it's good to see an AlphaTauri obviously doing well again. Obviously, Murphy down in Tier 5, he won for AlphaTauri. It'd be nice if we can get 2 AlphaTauri drivers getting some, at long last, some decent podium places in this season. I mean, we've not had a great season. The Constructors' Championship says it all.
Oh, Jack just having a bit of a tank slapper on the exit there. Of the Hamilton Straight.
Of course, Hamilton Straight, named after Sir Lewis Hamilton for being one of the most successful British drivers of all time. And obviously on the Hamilton Straight, obviously you've now got the Hilton Hotel, which is now built there, which they've included in this game as well. That's my boring fact of the week. I tell you what, I'm going to need a new chair at this rate because I've leant back ever so slightly and the bolts of my chair have come undone. Yeah, that's a scary thought. Oh well, there is a lovely little battle going on here between an Alfa Romeo and a McLaren at the minute of Fink Scouser and McConey. Mate, I don't know if you're on board with this.
Just on board with it now, yeah. They're coming up to Cops Corner.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to channel 2021 energy on these two. It's beautifully done. We've got a little bit of a battle going on. The freeway battle between 2 Aston Martins and a Williams as they're coming into Cops Corner as well. Tobes gets round to the ban. Beautiful overtake there from Tobes. Lovely, lovely stuff.
So where they're going through now, that's where I'll be sitting next year.
Oh,
Beckett's.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Is it general admission or is it an actual seat?
Actual seat.
Oh, mate, spending $1. Man,
cost
splashing
a
the
lot.
cash.
I think, yeah, I've always wanted to go to an F1 race, and it's better to start off with your home Grand Prix, to be fair.
It's the same for...
And then work my way around the world.
That's what I've said. I want to start with Silverstone before I go to another race.
Yeah.
A bit of a battle going on here between the two Aston Martins as Indian Jesus gets round Duell as Duell went a bit wide in to club. We've got two pitters. Esteban and Seb have both come in to pit. Esteban, however, the Mercedes driver, believes, and Seb both believe that it's time for inters, as Seb serves as time second penalty, I believe, because that was a bit slow, or it could have just been the game lagging.
I think, yeah, it's one of those where you might as well go and try something different.
Well,
it may pay off, it may not.
There is slowly starting to be a racing line forming on the track, so maybe, just maybe, they've called it, but the question is Inter's going to last the remainder? There's still 18 laps left of the race. Can Inter's last 18 laps?
Possibly, depends on how, well, Esteban has a little bit of a tank slapper. But I would say, yes, you can get them to the end. As long as there's moisture on the track still, then they can keep those within the temperature window.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm on board with Brabbit, who's also coming into pit. I've got a feeling we could be seeing another set of green walls here, because he was chasing Ennis down and then decided to dive right into the pit. So let's stay on board with him and see what's going to happen in his pit. The Ferrari boys are out, and it is a set of green walls. He's also going, you know what, I think now's the time for inters. I've got a feeling the weather could be drying up. I reckon we're going to be seeing a lot more drivers coming into pit and coming onto inters. We've got 3 more other drivers. The Williams team are out in the pits as well. They're going for a set of inters. Red Bull's doing the same, and so's Alpine. Everyone is coming in, and I do believe it's because they've all had the same idea and gone, you know what, it's time for inters. So that means Seb and Esteban could potentially have called this right, and that's going to bring them back into this Grand Prix.
Let's see how good their outlaps are on these tyres as well. They've had one more lap of experience as well to get them into that working window.
Well, the Red Bull seems to be slipping and sliding a little bit. The Seb seems to have a bit more control over his car than the Red Bull in front, but it is bringing them back into the race. The band comes back into P13 and Seb is now back up to P14.
Yeah. Plus, they're making inroads on the guys in front as well that may have not, that haven't pit yet on those. I was going to say hard tyres, on those wet tyres.
Well, Brabbit is currently P9, potentially provisional P1, especially if the other 8 drivers that are in front are all yet to still come in. However, there is still a long way between now and the checkered flag. Ennis is now deciding, you know what the time is to come in. Palmer is making a brave call and staying out. He's not come in. Maybe he's thinking, maybe, just maybe, hold out a bit longer. Maybe he's banking on a safety. So I tell you what, everybody else behind him, they're all coming in. Harry Palmer is going to be the last, one of the last drivers, apart from DC, who is going to be remaining on wet tyres. Interesting call. What would be going through your mind at the moment, AFL?
Just not bin it. Just don't bin it. Just keep it on the track, and whatever happens, happens.
You've had one podium this season, haven't you?
I have not. I think my best is a 4th position or a 5th.
I thought you were on the podium.
No.
Well, as it stands, Palmer and DeWitt are currently P1, P2. There's only 3 drivers left on track. Real DC, on the other hand, with a shock turn of events, he's gone into the pit. However, he's gone in on a fresh set of wets. He's gone out. Surely that's just the game being slow. No, there we go. It's all caught up. He's back on inters.
Because that would have been disastrous if Came out on a new set of wet tyres.
Well, Harry's now got to try and build a gap between him and Brabbit. It's currently a 9-second gap, which isn't going to be enough for him to keep hold of the lead of this race.
No, not at all.
So he needs to ideally come in this lap. That's what he needs to do. And here he comes.
He was listening to you.
He was. And it's making an easy overtake around DeWill. DeWill's got to be doing the same thing. He is as well. DeWill's also coming into pit as well. So it means all our boys have now gone from wet to inters. The question is it going to dry up and become a dry race? As Brabbit, the championship leader, sets the fastest lap of the race so far.
Brabbit is a long way ahead of a car, but we have a yellow flag in sector 3.
It's for 3-4.
3-4.
He's had a bit of a spin. Tyres aren't warm enough just yet. It doesn't look to have any damage. Looks like he's just had a bit of a spin. Hopefully he can get his head down and back into the game. Now, Brabbit is on 50% ERS. Innes is on 57. Clark's on 65. For the person in the comments asking to see the ERS or DRS of the Brabbit. There we go. You've seen it. Although Brabbit is burning through it at the moment, he is on. Nice, taking it off now. Ennis is trying to catch him up now. I can only imagine that he's going to be trying to get his head down and catch up on the championship leader. Ennis at the moment, I think Ennis is a reserve. Yeah, Ennis is one of the reserve drivers for this division. So, Brabbit's main rival at the moment is McConey and 4-star. 4-star currently sitting down in P4 and McConey down in P8. And then Strauss, very slim chance at the moment. He's got 106 points. He's currently 48 points behind Brabbit in P4. So technically speaking, at this moment in time, not to sound like a Debbie Downer, it is now a 4-horse race for the championship title, consisting of Brabbit, 4-star, McConey and Strauss, as Brabbit puts in another fastest lap of the race. He goes 1:39. Oh, we got a lovely freeway battle here going into, as an Aston Martin goes for a spin in the background. That's for DeWill.
Yeah, we have DeWill. I think he has damage, possibly. I'm not sure.
We've got a lovely battle on going here between 4-star and Not Jack.
Yeah.
And Clark's going to get enticed in this. I'll tell you what, though, if they keep battling as it is, Strauss is going to get involved in this. So the three championship contenders are all trying to battle between each other here for points. And so they should be.
DeWill is in. He had front wind damage and plate missing.
Must have spun and hit the wall. Hopefully he's not going to retire. Hopefully he's going to keep going. Let's jump on board with... Oh,
we've got a battle in
2021, 2021, 2021, 2021.
It was done before we got into cops.
It's coming, mate. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. If I say it enough, it's gonna happen. Oh dear. Scout also picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track warnings. Tell you what, it's been actually quite a clean race, to be fair. There hasn't been many black and white flags. Now, when I say not many black and white flags, at the moment there is one. I know we've had a couple, but we're not currently on board with Brabbit. We're sticking on board with this little battle going on at the moment. Brabbit's had enough time at the moment. We want to see this battle for P3 heating up, which it is.
Yeah, I'm just on board with Clark at the moment.
Yeah, I'm on board with Clark at the minute as well, as you've got 4-star trying to make his way round the inside into turn 1, having to back out a little bit there. Clark holding on to the position of P4. It's a good battle we've got going on here between these. So tell you what, if these two keep battling as it is, Strauss and Palmer are going to get brought back into it. Palmer hasn't really lost many positions, really, has he? He's only gone down to P7. Still got a chance. As 4-star is looking to send it on the inside into Village. Good battling side by side by these two. Clark's going to, keep hold of the position, and Yes, he is. Good battling going on here. I don't know if you're on board with this, AFL.
Yeah, I am. Here we go again. Uh-oh. And they both get through.
It's clean battling. 4 Stars desperately trying to get round this Red Bull. But I tell you what, Clark's defending like a champ at the minute.
Yeah. Keeping the car in all the right places.
He is. DeWill picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track infringements.
Show me Brabbiters.
There seems to be a little bit of a bump. I don't know if that was a bump there between them or not. 4 Stars now into P4. It's going to be an interesting battle potentially here as we go into the Frugos Hamilton moment. There's no Frugos Hamilton moments today, unfortunately, though. However, if you do check out my TikTok, you'll see a lovely one of me and the other admins checking to see if the multiplayer, the F123 cars were in fact equal cars again. We did pull off a Frugos Hamilton moment there between 3 of us. It was a lovely, lovely moment. You had to be there, AFL.
Battle still going on between 4 Star Club, Strauss, and Palmer as well, hanging on to their coattails, and McConey now.
I was going to say, McConey's slowly being dragged into it. We've got a yellow flag, and it's Fake Scouser who's out of this Grand Prix, and that is a safety car.
Oh,
We'll
does
jump back
bring
on
the
board with
likes of
Rabbit.
Freefall and KXI and DC, and also
does.
DeWill back into the race yet, as DeWill is pitting now.
Yeah, perfect time for DeWill to come in, get a fresh set of inters on, get to the back of that grid, and he should have a second chance.
He needs to be very careful because the leaders are coming around, so he's coming around to the pits now, and the leaders are coming around this May.
The leaders are coming in. Brabbitt's coming in.
They?
Ennis is coming in as well.
That has saved him.
I think Ennis has done, you know what, whatever Brabbitt's going to do, I'm going to copy.
That has actually saved the wheel there.
It has.
The fact that the leaders have pit as well, because this game is quite stupid. When you get lapped, you can't unlap yourself. So.
No, and that's an annoying feature I wish was in the game. I wish the safety car would let you unlap yourself under safety car conditions, as is in the regulations. Hopefully, EA, if you're listening, sort your stuff out, comes to mind. I can't say the word I was thinking of because Nathan wouldn't let me do comms again. I tell you what though, Not Jack here is potentially going to get lead of the Grand Prix, and he does. He's out in front of Brabbitt and he's out in front of Ennis, so Not Jack takes lead of the Grand Prix.
He decided to stay out. 5-lap-old Inters.
Well, if he's been looking after him.
Yeah. I think though the guys that pit, I think that was the better decision to pit.
I think it is. I think the decision to come in has definitely. I mean, you think Not Jack is on 5-lap-old Intus compared to P2, which is Brabbitt on fresh Intus. So it's going to be. You think by the time we get back in, we're looking at what, lap 16, lap 17, where we should get underway racing again.
Yeah.
One thing, as you know, AFL, I am quite good at calling when the safety car is going to come in.
Yeah, one of your many talents.
Just, I can't race, and I can't. But one thing I am good at doing is reading the weather and reading when the safety car is coming in. That is like the peak of my career. I think my best chance was when we were teammates in Series 7, mate. It seems like a long time ago now. I think that was one of my best chances for a title fight. And it started off well, went downhill from there.
Yeah, I'd love to say I'd be in a title fight this season. It's new for me not being in a title fight. Since I've been racing in Kona, I've been in title fights, but now I'm just languishing at the back of the grid. It's quite disheartening. But again, it just shows how skilled these guys are.
Yeah.
Racing on the wheel week in, week out.
100%. Wheel is a different ball game. Obviously, I started this season on wheel. Unfortunately, my wheel met an early death, so I'm back on pad for the remainder of this season. But hopefully, for the next season, I will be back on wheel, and with a better and more improved wheel at that. So I've had some suggestions from the Cone community. I've been thinking about G29 personally, but some of the boys have recommended a T300.
Oh, is that Thrustmaster?
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
T300.
Yeah.
I want one with an actual F1 wheel though, that's the thing. But apparently you got to pay extra for the wheel, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've got the Ferrari SF1000 wheel.
Is yours the round wheel or an actual F1 wheel?
An actual F1 wheel.
Oh.
So it's based on the SF1000 from 2019 or 2020, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. But I'm not doing it much justice.
Well, this is your first season on wheel, mate. Take it as like you're just being a rookie again. And next season, hopefully we'll see you battling for wins again once more. And you've changed your assists as well this season as well. Obviously you've lowered quite a few. So it's... Rome wasn't built in a day, mate. So...
Very true.
Safety car should be in this lap. We're just waiting for the stragglers to catch up. If not, by the looks of it, it will be lap 18. 3 cars to catch up. Well, one of them's pretty much caught back up now. We are just waiting for KXI and DeWill to catch back up. Tell you what, mate, I think as it stands, if it keeps going the way it is, I think we're going to have a championship battle all the way to the second to last race in this tier. I think we could be crowning our champion in the second to last race, which, of course, I believe I said was Imola. Well, not many laps left to go of this Grand Prix. We will be going out for one more lap of safety car because DeWill was just short of catching the pack up in time. Could have been a very late call from the safety car, to be fair, but it will be one last lap of racing. So we'll be going racing again on lap 18. So now me and AFL need to try and find another lap of filler conversation. How was the day at work, mate? Good day at the office? Mine was full of people asking these silly questions at work.
I tend not to talk about work when I'm out of work.
I try not to talk about work as well, but I will give you at least one story from work while we wait for these cars to come by. We had a lady come into the store this morning. She brought her phone in, and we're obviously where I'm based to. I'm based in Doncaster. And she comes in with her phone, and she goes, I need the time on my phone changing. Yep, no problem. You laugh now. The story hasn't... As we got a 5-second penalty with Tobes. Ooh, Saban and Tobes. It's Saban that picks up a 5-second penalty for crashing into him under safety car conditions. Anyway, quickly back to the story. I'll get it finished before obviously these boys have to come in. The lady comes up to me and says, I need the time on my phone changing. Right, no problem. And she goes, well, it says it's on the London time zone. Well, I'm in Doncaster, so clearly it's a different time zone. And it took every ounce of me to keep a straight face and look at her and go, that's because London's the capital city. That's why it says London. That's why the time zone says London. Oh, well, I still want it changing because I'm in Doncaster, not London. What do you want me to do? There's nothing I can do on this. There is some stories I'd love to say, but some of them I can't repeat on here. But that one I feel as if was just a funny moment, which I do feel could be repeated.
You've got the patience of a saint.
To work in my job, I think I do. But the safety car is in this lap. It will be not Jack leading us as we get underway with lap 18. Should be 9 laps of racing to see us between here and the checkered flag. Still plenty of twists in this story, and I think I'm going to crack open a can of Monster and sit back and get ready.
A can of Monster at nearly 8:30 in the evening.
Mate, these things don't affect me. I can drink these at whatever time and still fall asleep in 5 minutes.
You've built up the tolerance.
I have. If anything, it's like drinking fruit juice now.
Yeah, if I drank one of those, I'd be climbing the walls the whole night.
Yeah, I have built up a tolerance to Monster. It is like literally drinking a can of fruit juice. Considering the one I drink is the Mango Local one. As we get underway, I believe Not Jack has got underway to get this Grand Prix going. And it is. The restart is away, and it's a good... Brabbit is trying to get a good run on Not Jack.
He's going to make a move soon.
He is. I don't think it'll be long. Jump on board with Brabbit.
Ooh.
A bit of a tank slaps there.
Yeah. Could you see he's much more confident on the power?
He does. Well, when you're leading the championship, I've got a feeling you feel a bit more confident when you're in the car as well, let's face it. He's got that going for him at the moment as Brabbit looks to make a move down on the inside. It's very clean between these two drivers. Not Jack trying to hold on to the position, and he does. Not Brabbit going around on the outside to try and take him in. This is bringing back Vettel and Hamilton vibes.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not saying it because it's not the right teams.
Oh, no.
Brabbit gets round and it was nicely done.
Yeah, good fair racing between the two of them.
It was. Very good racing there on the restart. Now, just looking through the bold predictions for Tier 3. One of which is 3-4 to win the British Grand Prix.
Could still happen.
Could still happen. And as I say that, he moves up to P14, so the bold prediction is on for 3-4.
Yeah, Brabbit, look at that. Absolutely gone.
He has. He's found that once Brabbit gets away, let's face it, he's one of those. He has been in a league of his own this season, and the man is just on fire. McConey gets round Palmer, and McConey moves up to P7, obviously. 4-star is in P6. He's currently sitting second in the championship, so there won't be much of a difference as it stands. Top table wise if the race was to end at the moment. Tell you what though, Ennis goes for a lovely move on Not Jack. Not Jack didn't see it coming as Ennis moves back into P2. Good move there from the AlphaTauri driver. I wonder if that overtake on Not Jack from Brabbit has knocked the Mercedes confidence a little bit.
I don't know, you know. He's got a couple guys behind him with older tyres, as I say that.
Ooh, that could have ended a bit badly. Sorry to interrupt. We're having a bit of a battle here between 4-star and Strauss.
Yeah, I've just jumped on board with that now.
It very, very could have ended with one of them in a war. Tyres pretty much went locked into each other. These boys aren't trying to let the other one take much as 4-star gets round Clark. Palmer has been brought into this battle. He's been he's burning through it as we've got a yellow flag and we've had a collision. Indian Jesus is out of the Grand Prix. And I wonder what happened there as we've got a VSC. Cole Paradox is having to come in. I wonder if he's got wing damage. Was he involved in the collision between him and Indian Jesus? Real DC gets a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flag conditions. I think there's a wing sitting in the Williams garage ready to go onto the car, and it is. I think Cole Paradox and Indian Jesus had a slight bump, and Cole Paradox retires from the session. That might be one for the stewards to look into, so we'll jump back on board with Brabbit for now. Wow. Isn't that interesting, AFL?
Yeah. Very contentious. Anyway, I didn't see what was happening, so I'm not going to comment, but yeah.
I didn't see what happened. I just saw that Indian Jesus was taken out of the race, and Cole Paradox had to come in and he retired. So we'll leave it to the stewards. The stewards can decide tomorrow night. One of the drivers has picked up a drive-through. Who was that? I suppose you can have a quick look at the penalties for me and see which one of these boys have got a drive through.
Yeah, let's have a look.
As we got a yellow flag.
It's McConey.
McConey's dropped down. Even I think he's let his teammate pass. To be fair.
Yeah, McConey has a drive through.
I've got a feeling McConey might be coming into the pits and retiring. Personally, I've got a feeling he's going to go. You know what? I've had enough, especially with a drive-through penalty this late on in the Grand Prix. That's going to. Ennis setting the fastest sector 3 of the session. 5 laps to go. It's been a good race, to be fair, though, mate. We've had a few bumps and grinds, but it's been good. And I'll tell you what, it's been good to be back in the comms box after a bit of a break.
Yeah, it's been a decent race, and yeah, happy that you're back in your rightful position of lead comms.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've had a bit of a bump. Clark and Palmer. Clark was in a wall.
Safety car.
It's a VSC according to me, and it is now a full.
It's full safety car.
Wow, late call safety car. This. And that's because of Clark and Palmer. I don't know what's happened to the two. I saw Clark in a wall and Palmer was on the grass. I think they've had a bump. Now
it's all
then,
going off now.
a late game safety car. This could change everything. What would you do at this moment? I mean, it's still raining. Would you jump in for a first set of inters?
Depends on where I would be in the track, to be honest. If
Well,
I was
in Brabbit.
No, I'd stay out. Brabbit's got. I think he's got the speed on everybody today, Brabbit. To be honest, and that's no disrespect to the other guys. He's just on form.
He is. Well, Brabbit, I think he's listened to your advice, mate, and Brabbit has stayed out. I can only assume Ennis is going to say the same. I think some of the older inter-tire people may come in, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, none of them are. Everyone's ignoring Rob. Oh, there we go. Siebes listened to Rob. There he goes. However, his lap tyres aren't really that old. KXI is also coming in. He's deciding to go, you know what, I'm going to change my tyres.
Only problem is with coming in now, you'll probably only have maybe 3 or 4 laps to attack. Everybody will have their ERS
hang on
charged
a second
up.
here, mate. I think the Mercedes team have been listening to the Ferrari strategy team.
Oh, what have they done?
It's wet weather, and Sieb has gone on softs.
Oh.
There's a few drivers gone. Palmer's gone on softs. Tobes has gone on softs.
Do they know something we don't?
Potentially.
But there's no dry line, so...
I can't see any. That's suicide, surely.
Sieb spins coming out of the pits on his dry tyres.
Yep.
So yeah, this isn't a... It's not a good gamble that these guys have done.
Harry Palmer's acting like Bambi. He's doing the same. McConey's doing the same as well. What are these boys doing?
It's a strange one.
Are they hoping?
I mean, if there was a dry line, then absolutely it would work.
Well, I tell you what, mate. Is it me or is it look like the rain stopped?
Well, Harry Palmer's just gone wide, so I'm not too sure that it's...
I can't see any rain coming down, mate. I think the rain stopped and they've gone... There's going to be a last couple of laps shootout here. Because if they can catch back up, the safety car is going to come in around about lap 23, 24. There could be a couple of laps left of racing. And if these boys go around under safety car conditions... I think they're banking on the track's going to get dry in time. We could potentially have a twist in the tail here.
Nah, I don't think so. It doesn't look dry enough.
Mate, that dry line is starting to form. I can see it. Wow, this could be interesting.
Let's see what happens with the rest of these guys. Are they going to pit? Are they going to stay out? Brabbit's in.
They're all coming in for softs, boys.
Ooh.
3-4 and Ennis have stayed out.
Do you know what? That bet about 3-4 possibly winning.
It could be on here. It could be
happen.
on. But that dry line is forming, mate. mean, the safety car's got to come in on lap 24, if I remember correctly, because the game is programmed for there not to be any safety cars in the last 2 laps of the race. So lap 25 will be getting underway racing regardless. This could be interesting. We're in for a
This
treat
has got
here.
spicy, yeah. I don't know. It's a catch-22 situation right now.
The rain has stopped. There is no rain. What an interesting turn of events we've got going on here.
Literally. So everybody bar Ennis, Freefall and DeWill are on soft tyres. Which is very interesting.
I'm just trying to see if any of the soft runners are slipping about a bit. I don't think they are, you know. I think
now, yeah, they're at speed now where they're buying the safety car. They're not really going to be spinning much. It's going to be. I'll tell you what will be interesting will be the first lap once the safety car comes in.
And there's going to be no team games going on because the top six cars are all different teams. So there's going to be no car defending like a lion. It's going to be a free-for-all.
Every man for themselves.
See what I did there? Free-for-all. Free-for-all. Yeah.
Is he paying you for this wordplay?
What goes on between me and Free4 is strictly business.
Okay. I'm not judging.
But it is going to be an interesting last couple of laps of the race. Now, the safety car will have to come in this lap because of how the game's programmed. So, we're just waiting on McConey and Clark to catch up. If they can't catch up, then that's on them. 2 laps of racing we're going to have, and it's 3 sets of inters versus a grid of softs on a dry track. Still some wet dampness on there though, so it's going to be interesting.
I don't think the track's dry enough.
Do you not?
No.
Not for racing conditions?
Nope. Not. I think the guys in P1, P2 and P3 could run away with this.
There is a dry line starting to form, but it's not dry enough, let's face it. It's going to go either way, let's face it. This could be interesting.
Yeah. And if you were thinking of going anywhere, that's people in the comments. Don't go anywhere.
You don't want to be going anywhere.
This is about to get spicy.
This is going to be a very, very spicy end to the race. 2 laps of battling, mixed strategy, and a lot of talent on the track. Now, DeWill does currently have a time-second penalty against his name. So as it stands, it's Ennis, Free4, and Seeb. Does DeWill go, you know what, I'm going to try and let my Inter boys stay in front and take the ultimate sacrifice? Or like you say, does he go?
You got to go for it. You're a racer at the end of the day, you got to go for any position.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see what Ennis does on this restart, and what will be interesting is the guys on the softs, are their tyres up to temperature? Well,
we'll soon find out. The track still isn't fully dry. Is it still wet enough for inters? Is it dry enough for softs? Which tyre is going to be the superior tyre? We've got 2 laps of racing to decide who's going to win the British Grand Prix, and I'm not going anywhere. I know you're not going anywhere, so anyone that is watching, don't you go anywhere. As Ennis goes early, that's it, we're underway.
Yep, we're back underway now.
I'm on the edge of my seat here, mate. I'm bouncing in my seat.
Ennis has just got to keep it on the track now.
He has, yeah. So
he's got a good restart. He's already pulled out a second over Freefall.
Yeah, he's got a very good start now. Hopefully Ennis can keep it going. I'm going to jump on board with Freefall, who's going to be trying to hunt down Ennis. because this is where we're really going to start seeing a little bit of action here around about P2, P3. If 3-4 can get over in front of Ennis, then obviously we'll jump back a little bit and see what the other drivers can do. The soft runners are going to be trying to catch, not Jack.
Yeah, they've dropped back.
Rabbit.
The soft runners have dropped back drastically. I don't know if this is the right call, you know.
Well, we'll soon find out. The Inter boys are out in front. 1.5 laps left of racing. Ennis currently P1, Scott P2, DeWill. What is DeWill's time second penalty for me, mate?
He has a 3-second time penalty, and if he carries on at this pace, he could possibly still get that podium.
And it is. He's now over that 3-second mark. DeWill's looking to try and make a move on 3-4. 3-4 desperately trying to catch up on Ennis, but Ennis is just making that gap bigger and bigger and bigger. Are we going to have another AlphaTauri winner here this week at CRL?
Ennis has played a blinder here.
He has, and DeWill's looking to try and get the overtake on Scott. Good battling going on for P2.
We have Palmer going around the outside.
And he has Palmer. Oh, interesting going on between these two. It's a good, this battle before P4 is heating up. Palmer into P5, Sieve up to P4. Not Jack gets a time second penalty of 3 seconds on the second to last lap. Back on, we got a yellow flag. We've had a collision right at the very end. Clark and McConey have spun at Club. I think Ennis has done what he needs to do here. We're going to jump on board for backboard 3-4 for the battle for P2. He's trying to stay in front of DeWill. DeWill's got a nice gap in front of Sieb. I think the Inter boys have called it, you know, and they've gone, nah, the track's not dry enough. We're staying out. And I'll tell you what, it has paid in their favour.
Yeah, look at the gap from DeWill down to Sieb. It's,
But that track is drying, but I think it's too late.
It's too little, too late. Yeah, the guys that stayed out, they played a blind. I did question it. I did say that track wasn't dry enough. You have to feel for Brabbit though as well. Was in the lead, but has got the strategy call wrong.
That's all it takes though. One late game safety car. That is all it can take. Not Jack has got a time second penalty. DeWill's got a time second penalty. We're going to jump on board with my admin Tory teammate. He's not an admin for CRL, but I tell you what, he is going to cross the last corner at Club, where IRT Ennis crosses the line to win the British Grand Prix. Scotty P4, P2, and DeWill
will get that P3, yeah.
The Inter boys, they said it was still wet enough for Inters, and they were right. Seed P4, Brabbit P5, Palmer P6, 4-star P7, Strauss P8, Tobes P9, Not Jack P10, KXI P11, Staban P12, DC P13, Clark P14, and McConey to bring it home at P15. McConey will take a massive drop in points there, who's currently third in the championship. What a race, AFL!
Yeah, what a race. What a race. Drama filled all the way up to the last corner.
It was, and I tell you what, it'll be good to try and get these boys in for a interview. Let's see if we can get them in. Who was it that was P3? DeWill.
DeWill was P3, mate. Are you doing the invites?
I'm asking them on Discord if they want. If you would be okay to grab them in for an interview, if possible. But just to round things off, like I said, we've got NS who wins the British Grand Prix. Scott, the hot shot for the British Grand Prix win. He comes up runner-up in P2. DeWill P3, Seed P4, Brabbit P5, the championship leader. P6 is Palmer, 4-star P7, Strauss P8, Tobes P9, Not Jack P10, KXI P11, Spam P12, Real DC P13, Clark P14, McConey P15. He will be really upset about that, because that may put a massive dent in his championship. Still 3 rounds to go though, and Cold Paradox, Indian Jesus, Fake Scouser, and Leon all failing to finish. But it's been an amazing British Grand Prix. There's plenty of twists and turns throughout all of that, and hopefully we have still got plenty of action left to come with 3 rounds left in it. So we're just going to wait for the boys to all make their way into, obviously, the party, and then we will go from there. So P1 and P2 have joined. We're just going to see if P3 joins, which I believe is Duwill.
Yeah, I'm just adding him now, mate.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Soon.
We'll give him a couple of seconds, see if he can get in.
Yeah, I'm just sending him the invite now. Yep, invited.
Hopefully, I can see him typing in the Discord for those at home. Hopefully, he will be in, and we'll speak to Will first because obviously he is P3 on the podium. Oh, he's got no mic. Oh, it's a massive, massive shame. If only a controller had the mic built in, mate. Unless you're on the PS4. Anyway, then we'll move on to our runner-up. It is the one and only. It is our Tier 5 commentator. It is Mr. Scotty34. How are you doing, lad, after that?
I've got one word on those where microphones you might be able to turn the volume down.
Something tells me that you're just a little bit excited after that P2 position, mate.
You have no idea. Qualifying, I just gambled. It's like, it's going to dry up at the end. Dry setup. I only managed to get 1 lap in because, do you know what, the Cone channel can hear this? My sister was in the bath, I couldn't go to the toilet, so I had to run outside to quickly relieve myself, and when I came back, I was a minute late. So I literally had 1 run in qualifying to put it P7. Then it was wait. I don't know how to drive in the wait, so I ended up just half spinning down like P18. The safety cars came out, and yeah, everybody kind of funneled into the pits for them softs. The first lap, there was a few went in. The second lap, most of the grid went in, and I said to myself, come out of my Maggots and Beckets, whatever the majority of people do, I am doing the opposite. And me, Ennis and Kevin, oh, what a team.
I tell you what, it was a spectacle right at the very end. Me and AFL are there going, hang on, they're staying out. The majority of people have come in. What's going on? So I'm assuming that you're like, oh, hang on, the track's not really dry enough. I'm just going to stay out.
Yeah, my thing was, you know, like the weather evolution on this game is very fast. We do know how quick it can dry up. But like, there's only 2-3 laps of racing here. And the thing is, like, I was running for about P9. And I was sort of thinking, right, I'm going to be P2. Can I defend 7 people for 2 laps? Chances are probably yes, if it's equal, you know, pace. If it's slightly slower, maybe I can defend a few and still get a few points. If it's quicker, podium. So we rolled the dice, and I came through, is it Village you call it, you know, just before the first DRS straight, and I'd gained 6 tenths on P4, and just in my mind, I've made the right call.
No, you definitely did make the right call, mate. You're P2, you're on the podium again, mate, at long last. It's good to have a chat with you as well, because obviously normally you're doing the comms for me in AFL, down obviously in Tier 5, so you're back on the top spot, mate. But we have to turn our attention next week, and it's a track that you're very familiar with, mate. We're back off to Miami.
Miami, of course, in your league, started at the back, got onto the podium. A brilliant setup from one of my beneficiaries, shall we say, a good friend of mine. Hopefully it stays dry, and yeah, I wouldn't put myself out to count. It's a track I've grown to love with that setup, and just a nice bit of flow to it.
Well, hopefully we see you back on the podium, obviously, not only here, obviously elsewhere, and obviously maybe you can go 2 for 2 in Miami. AFL, have you got anything to add to our lovely comms for Tier 5?
No, mate, you've summed it up perfectly. Just well done, mate. Well done. Good drive.
If it's alright, before you jump across to him, I would just like to say a big shout out to Ennis. We've had, those that know the CRL lore and the CRL history, we've had quite the comings together over the years. But no, he was absolutely solid today. His pace, he pulled 4 seconds, 2 laps on those inters. Like, well deserved win.
Thank you very much.
Amazing. Anyway, so we will now turn our attention to our race winner. Now, speaking not, as I know I should be impartial, but as a fellow AlphaTauri driver, mate, that's how it's done. That's 2 P1s for AlphaTauri this week. You're getting us some points back, mate. Well done on that win.
Vamos, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh my god. What a race, huh? Jesus.
Try being on this side of the booth, mate. There were some interesting calls made throughout that race, but speak us through your last minute call, mate. Obviously staying out for Indians. What was going? Obviously, we've heard what went through Scott's mind. What went through your mind on that last little bit?
I think his mind is more interesting to say the least. But I think I knew I was gonna stay out. The track was wet, but the track it stopped raining, but the track was still wet, and it was just a gamble, to be honest. But I think I was confident in the call to stay out on the Inters.
No, it was. Me and AFL we were talking between us, like, we could see that it stopped raining, we could see that a dry line was trying to form. It's like, we don't know what the right tyre is here. And then towards the back end of it, AFL's gone, actually, I think the Inters have called the right call. And you three you especially just took off on that restart.
I knew immediately I had to launch as early as I could and as fast as I could, and I just went for it. I bolted. I pushed I got fastest lap as well, which I'm happy about.
You did.
I just bolted off.
So that's maximum points you're going to ramp this week. There's 26 points towards your championship. Currently, as it stands, I believe you're a reserve, aren't you, for this tier? You are a reserve, so it takes points away from the championship runners. That's the main thing, but it points for yourself more importantly as well. So it's a good run. Now, obviously, as a reserve, obviously you're not always guaranteed, but yeah, you scored points for AlphaTauri, so thank you. But considering that we had a winner and a disqualification in Tier 5, it's good to see some points back. But if you are about for next week, mate, how do you feel about Miami?
Miami's... It's hit and miss, to be honest. Miami could be really good at points, and it could be just one of those tracks where it's just dead, you know? It's just no pace, no tyres, no nothing.
It is one of those, but it's classed as like a hybrid tracks, obviously, because it's designed to be quick, but it's street track and cramped. It's interesting, Miami. It's a very interesting track, but hopefully, mate, obviously we'll see you again, obviously at some point in the near future for CRL, but a big congratulations on your win, mate. But it's more importantly, I believe, I'm just looking at it now, it's a 1-2 British driver at Britain, so it's both of you can take that away at least.
Scottish.
Okay, Scott. It's a Brit and a Scot on the podium for Silverstone. AFL, have you got anything to add to our race winner?
No, you're getting actually quite good at these interviews. I have nothing else to add.
Unfortunately for the folks back at home, that is it for Tier 3 for another week, and it was so good to be back in the comms booth after a few weeks away. AFL, obviously, you stepped up last week, or the week before, it feels like a lifetime ago now since I was doing comms. You stepped up, obviously, last week, obviously, at Abu Dhabi. You've had a taste of it, and now we're back together, and now this is it now to the remainder of the end of the season. Boys, hopefully we see you guys again on the podium, but for Tier 3, that's it. However, head on over to Tier 1 or Tier 2. They're currently underway. Obviously, they both kick off at the same time, so do you want to see the top dogs, or do you want to see the reserve top dogs? Is that reserve top dogs? And go from there. But next week, we'll be back at the same time as 7:30, where we'll be going to Miami. It's a goodbye from me, it's a goodbye from AFL, and we will see you back here same time next week.